Alright, we have a ton to cover here, so let's just start right away. Ghost of Yotei, Legends release date. Following the success of Ghost of Yotei, which is outpacing Ghost of Tsushima in sales over the same period, Sucker Punch Productions has confirmed a release date for its co-op-focused Legends DLC. It's out on March 10th and completely free for current owners on PS5. But that's not all. The first gameplay trailer is now available, and it gives us a closer look at the demonic Yotei 6. Your targets are the spider, the oni, the snake, and more, but they're far from their campaign counterparts. The spider actually has multiple appendages and crawls on ceilings. The oni has a decapitated head that it carries around on its spear. The snake has actual snakes crawling through its body, and the kitsune has a sickle in its mouth and chains on its body. Each of these threats is far from larger than the average yokai, but fortunately, you won't battle alone. Up to 4 players can team up in online co-op with 4 additional classes to choose from. Each has unique weapons, including spears, dual katanas, and longbows. If it's anything like Ghost of Tsushima Legends, expect them to have unique perks and set bonuses as well. Death Stranding 2 PC release date. Kojima Productions took to the proverbial stage during the recent State of Play showcase to confirm that Death Stranding 2 On the Beach will be coming to PC on March 19th. Kojima Productions has revealed the various PC-specific features coming to the game. Along with this, we also get a look at how the PC release will look in action through a mix of gameplay segments and in-game cinematics. The port, developed through a collaboration between Kojima Productions and Nixies, will feature unlocked frame rates during gameplay, with cinematics being locked to 60 FPS. Along with this, it will also include support for ultra-wide displays. PC players using a DualSense controller will also be able to experience many of the console's features, like adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. Capping things off, the trailer confirms that Death Stranding 2 On the Beach on PC will support upscaling and frame generation technologies provided by both Nvidia through DLSS and AMD through FSR. The Steam page for Death Stranding 2 On the Beach hasn't gone live yet, so additional details like hardware requirements haven't yet been confirmed. Pragmata gets new trailer. The developer has released a brand new trailer for its upcoming puzzle shooter hybrid game, Pragmata. The trailer gives us a glimpse at what the title's strange depiction of Earth will look like. Through interactions between protagonist Hugh and Diana, we also get some story details, like the former having grown up in an orphanage. While we don't get much gameplay as the 2 characters walk around a strange hologram-styled recreation of New York City, the trailer caps things off by showing off a brand new enemy type that looks like a twisted reflection of a human being. Pragmata is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch 2 on April 24th. Resident Evil Requiem trailer teases Sherry Birkin. It seemed obvious that Resident Evil Requiem will receive a new trailer at State of Play. A good amount of footage is familiar, showcased during the last round of hands-on previews, but there's plenty that's new. For example, we got our first tease that Sherry Birkin is alive, and in fact, the voice guiding Leon on his earpiece. While our main man is busy chopping up infected enemies, her words, "We're running out of time," confirm what we've all suspected all along, that Leon is infected. Based on their investigation, it could very well be Elpis, though how much time he has before turning remains to be seen. Other notable scenes include Grace Ashcroft stating that she'll come along with Leon, not wanting to have any regrets when it's all said and done, and his long-awaited return to where his despair truly began, the Raccoon Police Department headquarters. Resident Evil Requiem launches on February 27th for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. Kena: Scars of Kosmora announced. Kena is back in Kena: Scars of Kosmora, a sequel to Bridge of Spirits that sees her take on a role of a spirit guide and even attempt to bring her unique blend of empathy and compassion to the living. Ember Studios co-founders Josh and Mike Greer have announced the title at today's State of Play, stating that the team is looking to create something bigger and better this time around, while highlighting its new sound association with PlayStation Studios. Our partnership with PlayStation Studios has empowered us to expand our scope, while still staying true to what made the first game special. The reputation that Kena cultivated in the previous game seemingly has her in good standing with the residents of Kosmora, a new world which she explores in her capacity as a spirit guide. There are new threats for her to face and new mysteries for her to investigate as she aims to assist Kosmora's residents in both the physical and spirit realms. New Dead or Alive game confirmed. Koei Tecmo has confirmed that a brand new game in the Dead or Alive series is in the works. The announcement comes in the form of a short teaser trailer that also celebrates the fighting game franchise's 30th anniversary. While no release date has been confirmed, the teaser confirmed that this new Dead or Alive project is in development for PS5. In the teaser, we got to see two of the iconic Dead or Alive characters duking it out, Kasumi and Ryu Hayabusa. Viewers will also notice that Ryu is making use of his updated design as we last saw in October's Ninja Gaiden 4. Control Resonant gameplay. Unfortunately, Remedy Entertainment didn't reveal a release date for Control Resonant, its long-awaited sequel to the critically and commercially acclaimed Control. However, it showcased some extensive new gameplay, highlighting Dylan's movement and combat capabilities. Perhaps most incredible is the Aberrant, his own shape-shifting weapon, his guiding light through the mayhem-filled Manhattan. It can act as a large two-handed sword or even an oversized hammer to crush enemies. Alternatively, you can transform it into a fist for launching enemies into the air. Not every enemy is as much of a pushover, however. There's a flying enemy with sweeping lasers and bombs that seemingly doesn't care for Dylan's melee attacks. However, he can climb on its back to target a weak point and even dig in the Aberrant for a stylish execution when he's not swapping vertical planes due to gravitational phenomena. Other threats await, including the main reason for the sequel's name, the Resonance. The one showcased is fast, requiring pitch-perfect timing, and keeps pace with Dylan in frightening fashion. Project Windless. Krafton has unveiled a new game being developed by its Montreal studios through a new trailer that clocks in at almost 3 minutes in length. While the game doesn't yet have a name, the company has referred to it as Project Windless, and has confirmed that it is based on the Korean high fantasy book series The Bird That Drinks Tears. The central conflict of the game seems to revolve around the Naga and the other races, which largely stem from an envoy that was brutally murdered. Much like the book series, the game also places quite a bit of emphasis on the Naga and their relationships with hearts. The trailer starts off by giving us some story setup before quickly throwing us into the midst of its fast-paced, high-intensity gameplay. The number of enemies that are on screen at any given moment might draw comparisons with Koei Tecmo's Warrior series. However, the trailer has also indicated that there will be boss fights requiring more in terms of tactics than simple button mashing. The protagonist is of a race based on roosters dubbed Recon, and will be capable of wielding different kinds of weapons, from one-handed swords to dual-wielding smaller blades, or two-handing a giant spear. The core story will seemingly revolve around winning battles to unite a fractured land and give birth to a new kingdom. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. Konami finally revealed Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2, and it includes exactly what everyone expected: remasters of Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Originally released exclusively for PS3, and the only entry in the series to never get a re-release, Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots is the final tale in Solid Snake's journey. He'll go up against Liquid Ocelot's version of Outer Heaven with new stealth mechanics, including an optic camo suit. As for Peace Walker, it originally launched on the PlayStation Portable before coming to PS3, and provides some much-needed background on characters like Paz, heading into Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes and The Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 launches in August. Forloop gets a new gameplay deep dive. Forloop just got a gameplay deep dive at today's State of Play, and it's looking real good in the run-up to its closed beta. We were joined by Mike Booth, the game's director and chief creative officer at Bad Robot Games, who was emphatic about creating a title that stood out from the crowd, an ambitious goal for the rather crowded co-op shooter space. A core goal when I'm designing games is to make new kinds of experiences that always offer interesting surprises and unpredictable moments for players, and for our own dev team. To achieve this means building emergent gameplay. However, it looks like Forloop might just live up to its lofty goals, with a very cool way to dive into missions in a world where an alien invasion has left the majority of Earth's population turned into glass statues called the Probability Map. You choose missions with your fellow players via a vote, and are thrust straight into the action, navigating maps that are designed to give you options and the creative freedom to make the most out of them as you go about your objectives. Don't worry if you die though, as there's a really cool 3D printer that's going to bring you right back to life at your home base, while at least one of your teammates must make it to the escape zone for your run to succeed. 007 First Light new gameplay. IO Interactive took over the spotlight during the recent State of Play showcase to release a brand new story trailer for upcoming title 007 First Light. The trailer clocks in at over a minute and a half in length and discusses the personality of protagonist James Bond, as well as the setup to him getting his official license to kill. Along with the story setup itself, we also get a glimpse at some of its action-packed gameplay sections, involving a variety of different weapons and vehicles, from boats to cars to even planes. The trailer then changes gears to showcase how it will blend action gameplay with its social stealth mechanics, since Bond will have to hide from his enemies in plain sight. Earlier this month, studio CEO Hakan Prak had spoken about how IO Interactive's experience with the Hitman franchise helped in the development of 007 First Light. He also noted that, while the studios learned quite a few things, James Bond's approach often tends to be different from Agent 47. Back in December, another trailer had been released that gave us our first look at one of the main antagonists of 007 First Light, Bomba, as played by legendary musician Lenny Kravitz. The character has been described as the most prolific black market dealer in the Western Hemisphere, and at one point also threatens Bond by dangling him over hungry crocodiles. Marathon Server Slam announced. As promised, Bungie's Marathon appeared at State of Play with a new cinematic trailer featuring none other than the voice of Jennifer English speaking in ominous tones. From there, it goes into a squad leader asking for help, proclaiming that they've done horrible things to survive. However, as many suspected, the developer also announced a server slam from February 26th to March 2nd for all platforms. It offers the introductory phase of the experience with unlockable rewards for the full game. Weapon charms based on Helldivers 2, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, and Ghost of Yotei will also be available exclusively for PlayStation Plus subscribers. Marathon launches on March 5th for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC for $40. New John Wick game announced. Saber Interactive has revealed a brand new action game during the recent State of Play showcase. While it doesn't yet have a title, the game will be an adaptation of the John Wick movie franchise, and the trailer currently refers to it as Untitled John Wick Game. Much of the trailer focuses on establishing the vibes of the John Wick adaptation, with the eponymous protagonist taking on a variety of enemies and getting ready for his next battles. The tail end of the trailer gives us a brief look at what actual gameplay will look like, by showing us how Wick can quickly dispatch foes across a variety of ranges, with an emphasis on melee grapples and counters, as well as gunplay. Lionsgate chairman Adam Fogelson had confirmed that a AAA John Wick game was in development back in January. While he didn't reveal too many details, he said that our AAA game opportunities and other gaming opportunities around John Wick and Saw and some others that we'll be announcing soon during an earnings call. The movie franchise hasn't seen much in the way of video game adaptations aside from 2019's John Wick Hex. However, the tactical strategy game has since been delisted from all storefronts. The character himself has made appearances in a few games, namely Fortnite and Payday 2. This newest John Wick project doesn't yet have any release date. Beast of Reincarnation release date. Game Freak's Beast of Reincarnation showed off its stunning visuals and some slick combat in a very impressive release date trailer. Combining a story that seems like it could be quite interesting with a gameplay loop that's akin to the more parry-focused Souls-like out there, this one's shaping up to be a title to watch out for. For those of you unfamiliar with it, Beast of Reincarnation puts you in the shoes of Emma, a sealer who must find and destroy the Hush, a mysterious creature that's devastated Japan in 2046. Emma is quite the capable fighter, manipulating the fauna around her to attack, defend, grapple, and generally cause mayhem in her effort to fulfill her mission. She's accompanied by her dog Ku, who might just be our pick for the best supporting character of the year given how helpful he is in a pinch. The combat system looks sublime, with enemies that bring flurries of strikes that you can parry in order to gain the upper hand, while Ku can take a chunk out of particularly troublesome foes if things aren't going your way. This is an adventure we're itching to begin when it drops on August 4th, 2026 for the PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. Saros new gameplay. New gameplay and details abound for Housemarque Saros, including The Passage, where players can interact with survivors and learn more about what's happening on Carcosa. More importantly, however, it finally reveals how progression and permanent unlocks work. By interacting with Soltari's primary, you can upgrade attributes and acquire special perks for future runs. You can also adjust the difficulty, changing how much damage enemies deal, and even eliminating the second chance option. Another game-changing feature is the ability to teleport to any unlocked biome directly. Then there's the Eclipse, which corrupts the world, changing enemies. For example, projectiles can reduce max integrity, but kills with the superweapon will restore it. Weapons and artifacts also become corrupted in positive and negative ways. Star Wars Galactic Racer. Fuse Games and Secret Mode have released a new trailer for upcoming racing game Star Wars Galactic Racer during the recent State of Play showcase. Rather than spending too much time establishing the story and tone, however, the trailer gets right into the high-speed, high-stakes action. Star Wars Galactic Racer will revolve around an unsanctioned racing league in the Outer Rim, dubbed the Galactic League. At the start of the game, the Galactic League is dominated by Kester Boole thanks to his underworld connections and underhanded tactics. The player takes on the role of Shade, a lone racer with a grudge against the Boole family, to take on Kester. The developers have noted that Star Wars Galactic Racer will feature an immersive campaign that offers several branching paths that will allow players to unlock new parts, tools, and upgrades. The vehicles will also be available in a number of different forms, from skim speeders and speeder bikes to the classical Phantom Menace-styled pod racers. Konami's new RPG, Rev Noir. Konami took the proverbial stage during the recent State of Play showcase to tease a brand new title, Rev Noir, with the teaser trailer. While we didn't get too much in the way of gameplay or story, we do get some hints of what the title will be about, with core themes seemingly revolving around adventure and memory manipulation. The little bit of gameplay we do get towards the end of the teaser trailer reveals fast-paced hack-and-slash action that will have players take on all manners of beasts. To help in these combat scenarios, the protagonist will also be accompanied by party members, who will seemingly have their own special abilities. The trailer's description doesn't really help much with regards to providing information either, with it largely being text that could either be described as a poem or a strange conversation. It describes a lonely boy who suffers from amnesia, and a special girl setting off on a journey to stop a strange phenomenon known as lightfall, which seemingly brings death to those it touches. Castlevania Belmont's Curse. A new Castlevania game was announced at the State of Play. It is described as a 2D exploration action game being co-developed by Konami Digital Entertainment alongside Evil Empire and Motion Twin, and it's slated to launch sometime in 2026. The sudden supernatural attacks turn the city into a nightmare and force a vampire hunter into the streets and towards a looming castle to push back the outbreak. On the gameplay side, the iconic vampire killer whip is positioned as more than just a weapon. It's also a mobility tool, letting you swing and reposition quickly for aggressive, fast-paced fights. The reveal also shows a sword as an additional option, with more weapons and abilities promised later, and the post teases classic series staples like secret rooms, hidden items, and even breakable walls that cough up health-restoring food. Sons of Sparta. Kratos is in Son of Sparta, which is being positioned as a surprise canon side story, and it's available now on PS5 via the PlayStation Store. It follows Kratos' youth following his brutal training at the Agoge alongside his brother Deimos. It promises spear and shield combat and a bestiary mixing classic foes reimagined in hand-drawn pixel animations, with brand new creatures pulled from lesser-used corners of myth. The Trilogy Remake. Remember all those rumors about the original trilogy getting a remaster? As it turns out, Sony Santa Monica had much bigger plans, confirming that a full remake of all three titles is in the works. There wasn't much information beyond the fact that it's very early in development. The developer also revealed that it will be a while before it can share further details, but when there's an update, you can expect it to be suitably massive. Silent Hill Townfall gameplay revealed. We finally got our first look at Silent Hill Townfall, with a reveal trailer dropping during State of Play that showcases the town of St. Amelia, while hinting at a very dark story for its new protagonist, Simon Ordell. We begin with Simon pondering the mistakes that led him to his current predicament before diving into a showcase of the game's excellent visuals and combat that seems as nerve-wracking as you'd expect from a Silent Hill title. Among the most interesting new addition is the CRTV, a pocket television that's going to be integral to your journey through St. Amelia, according to John McKellen, the game's writer and director. Aside from the CRTV, McKellen commented on the game's shift to the first-person POV, showcasing how it blends well with the new device at our disposal. It's going to be mighty helpful in tracking your objectives and keeping tabs on threats around you. In the event that you're spotted by said threats, you get to use both melee and ranged weapons to take them on, or perhaps choose to be stealthy and attempt to avoid conflict altogether. That might be a wise choice given how terrifying the enemies in the trailer were. We believe things are going to get a whole lot worse. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.